Good morning. It is Sunday, the 7th of September. And officially, every place else in the country, summer is over. Of course, here in Florida, we always have summer. But in order to create more traffic tourism, they have figured out in Tallahassee, have people come here to get infected. I mean, wouldn't that be a wonderful thing if all the kids here are walking petri dishes and you can get like anything you want in the whole world just by going to Disney World? Hepatitis, polio, you name it. Come to Florida, get infected. That is something we can talk about on the rotation. Definitely don't come for the bud because you will get arrested.
You used to have to go to Panama City Beach and have unprotected sex to get infected in Florida, but now you can just go to school.
Yeah, I mean that's the way they. If things are in Florida, make things easier on the kids to get infected, right?
But here's
everybody else in the whole class has measles.
Here's the good news: is you could still go to Panama City Beach and get infected.
Yeah.
So that option is still on the table.
That option is on the table, regardless of the politics of the day.
Yes.
Well, my name is Gary Stein. I'm the political director and policy director for Suncoast Normal and our master of public health.
You didn't hear it?
Now I can. There we go. Which is why I had to lead off on that because that's just my ballywick. I mean, I actually got one guy said to me that what they found out was that actually there was a 1,135% increase in autism due to the hepatitis B vaccine, which little kids don't get. They don't get it till they're in their teens. So, and that's only again if you get in contact with somebody with hepatitis B. It was hepatitis D, you name it. These kids, these people are constantly making up shit to try to create ideas. Those we know folks who have autism, and they're infuriated with this constant bullshit that comes out about what causes autism. Oh, they also claim that Tylenol during pregnancy now causes autism.
I mean,
there's multiple reports saying that
Gary,
it prevents it.
As much as I want to talk about the Surgeon General of Florida ending vaccine mandates and this debate of whether or not vaccines cause autism, I really would like to talk about real quick how the lieutenant governor was texting Representative Andrade and confirmed that the governor of Florida is autistic, that Ron DeSantis has Asperger's syndrome. And when they said that, all I could think of was that South Park episode. Ron has Asperger's? Because I believe that fucking meatball, eating burgers out of his pants because he's always pulling ideas out of his ass. So,
I know people who have Asperger's and they're so much smarter than DeSantis. So I tend to call bullshit on that one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, DeSantis made it through Harvard. He was the naval JAG officer. I mean, and now all of a sudden he's autistic. I'm at a loss of words.
Thank you, Jay Collins, using all of your expertise and medical knowledge to make a diagnosis on our governor.
I mean, look, I know that he should be diagnosed as an asshole, but I didn't know that autism and being an asshole were confusing diagnoses.
I feel like having Asperger's is like a way to get rich or something. Yeah.
Well, look,
are you gonna run $1 billion company or the state?
Yeah, and we'll jump into politics later in the news. I wanted
run a head shop over here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and let's talk about that. Like, I wanted to talk about our guest today and what's the latest going on in
introduce yourself, Chris,
in the cannabis space. But yeah, I'll introduce myself for those who are just tuning in. Maybe this is folks' first episode. I'm Christopher Cano. I'm our executive director here at Suncoast Normal. I typically join the show from the Washington, D.C. area each and every week to keep a pulse on what's going on in our nation's capital. Yesterday, there were massive protests all over the Capitol, protesting, the current occupation and takeover of D.C. by the Trump administration. A lot of people out and about. Folks are not happy with the direction the country's going. Some folks are. Some folks are like, hey, I voted for this. I voted for kids to get snatched up on the way to school, and some people say that they voted for the massive expansion of immigration and customs enforcement. All in all, politics has got me tired. I'm just so tired of all the bullshit. I'm tired of arguing with dumb people.
So
It's
dumb. It's so dumb.
everybody on social media is a goddamn policy expert these
I feel
days.
like every conversation I've had this year has made me dumber.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
arguing with
stupider
stupid
now
people.
because
Yes.
of
Well,
arguing politics.
Yeah.
I got upset this week because I wanted to watch Idiocracy. And I found out that it didn't have audio description, so I have to watch it by myself. Either that or I have to explain everything to me as it goes on, which makes it difficult. But
I mean, it's hard to describe idiocracy and not see the parallels in our own society. Like, hey, what? The porn star fucking president is on TV shooting off a gun. It's like, wait, is that the news? Is that idiocracy?
all right, here's a question you can answer for me, Chris. If you had to compare the price structure of cannabis in DC versus Chicago, which one is more expensive and which one would you call in the National Guard to stop?
Oh man, yeah, for sure. Chicago, hands down. I mean, I remember going to the DNC in 2024 and thinking, oh man, well, let's not travel with bud across state lines. Let's just sample what they got in a legal state. And then you find out that Chicago's adult use prices are what we're paying for medical in Florida. I mean, $70 eighths because of the taxing structure, and the pricing is just ridiculous. And in DC, $70 can get you a whole ounce. So yeah, I saw your face just said yes. Wow. DC is one of those markets where there's a lot of competition. It is flooded. Supply and demand being what it is, but at the same time, you have Virginia, which has legal cannabis, but its governor won't allow for adult use sales. In Maryland, they just raised the taxes on adult use sales to try and plug budget holes. It went from 9% to 15%. So all in all, DC still has the best prices on the Eastern Seaboard. New York is another flooded market. But New York is also a difference between whether or not you go get bud from the guys in the park who are setting up their pop-ups without a license, or you go to a licensed place. And I mean, that's also a concern for a lot of folks too. For some people, having a licensed, tested place gives you peace of mind. And then we hear these reports that are out there that labs are giving out favorable test results to big multi-state operators, and basically not using scientific data that and Carlos has brought this up in previous episodes. You can test two buds on the same plant and they test wildly different, but the one that's going to make it on the package is the one that's the most potent, because they know they can charge more for that. And so that's one of the main challenges we see in the legal license market. All in all,
see a lot of smoke shops in DC and in Chicago.
Smoke shops, head shops, yes, they're everywhere, whether it's DC, whether it's Maryland. Even then, they have tried to outlaw, we've seen the same boilerplate legislation that has been pushed by multi-state operators, especially the ones in Florida, who have been pushing things all across the country to ban hemp sales in the various smoke shops. And they were successful in actually doing that in Maryland and passing that law. Now, enforcement is something else, And then again, as cannabis has become more, accepted culturally as mainstream, some people don't even care. Like I said, a few episodes back, I went to a bodega down the street and the dude just tried to sell me some bud. He's like, "Hey, you want some good shit?" And I was like, "What?" And I was like, nah, I'm good. I got my own stuff. No. This is not, And it's like, oh, it's not that Delta 8. But, it's probably just some stuff that was sprayed with terps. It wasn't that good. It smelled good. It looked good. Didn't do nothing.
Was it called blueberry squishy?
To go back to what you were originally, like how you opened today, Kano.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You got to introduce yourself first.
Oh, okay. I'm Carlos. All right. So to go back to what is going on today, guys?
Casual introductions, self introductions.
Okay, so to go back to how you open, Kano, I'm just fucking tired.
Yeah.
Tired of all this bullshit. I'm tired of the cannabis industry and corporate cannabis fucking everything up and trying to outlaw hemp and everything like that. So I don't know. We had Minardi on last week. Maybe we could ask Minardi what the legal ramifications would be if, like, as an official organization, we just influence everybody to buy from the trap.
I mean, I would say let's go back to our roots as a culture. Yeah.
I mean, like, instead of like, there were talks at one point of like contributing to maybe a dispensary ban, right? Let's just go full on and just be like, you know what? Don't just ban the dispensaries, just fucking support the fucking trap. Huh?
Support your local trapper.
Anybody? Anybody down?
Jamie Lowell said it at Michigan. The prices are getting so low because there's such a glut, and there's so much sales of cannabis in the adult use industry where they're going to put a moratorium on it for a while to try to reduce the supply and bring down the prices.
Well, while we stay on this topic, right? Most recently in High Times, Paul Armentano, who's the National Deputy Director of NORML, and really our brainchild, he writes the articles, he does the research, he compiles everything, the easy read news for us every week. Wrote an op-ed that says, "Do you want clean and safe cannabis? And home grow and legal access are the answer." And there are sensational headlines all across the country right now that can help validate a lot of this. I mean, you have cops in Rhode Island saying that some lady died from fentanyl-laced cannabis. And while fentanyl is no doubtly deadly, it's rarely, if ever, present in cannabis. Cops just want a reason to validate their overinflated budgets. Tampa police is no different in how they do things. I mean, we had a big episode last week on how they're arresting people for what's legal. I mean, so it's not a shock. I mean, they violate people's civil rights all the time, so much so that the federal FBI had to step in at the end of the last Buckhorn administration because they were arresting people just for being black while on a bicycle. So there's no shock there. And then you continue to hear all kind of sensationalism about, well, the Chinese Communist Party is also running illegal cannabis grows, and you don't know what they're going to put in the stuff. And in New York State they're doing the same thing, in Connecticut, in Vermont. It's all across the country. And the craziest thing is that Harvard Medical School recently did a study that revealed from the forensic labs they almost never identify fentanyl in any of the legitimate cannabis seizures. Their results show no evidence of widespread fentanyl co-occurrence in cannabis. So that is just a talking point that the prohibitionists have been able to jump onto, that the prison industrial complex has been able to jump onto. Recent scientific analysis shows unregulated cannabis flower seized by police said that 16% of the samples had detectable levels of mycotoxins and fungal metabolites. Some hemp-derived cannabinoid products have been found to contain unlabeled cutting agents and potentially dangerous heavy metals like magnesium, chromium, nickel, and mercury. And commercially available CBD products have also found to contain psychoactive additives, including dextromethylorphamine, which is a cough suppressant. And the unregulated products have far higher or lower percentages of what the labels actually say. So all in all, what Paul says is, if we want to really give people the peace of mind, they need to be able to grow at home. They need to be able to grow their own quality product. And then also, you need to have convenient retail access to lab-tested cannabis for licensed products, and that will reduce all of these concerns that people have. It's not about over-criminalizing. It's not about increasing police budgets. It's give us safe, legal, and affordable cannabis and allow us to grow our own so we can have those boutique cannabises. Right now, all you can buy is that shit that they sell down the street here in Florida if you have a medical card. And that's all my 2 cents on that subject.
Well,
Carlos?
Florida is not going to be known for the best homegrown weed that you could buy in a store. I think it's going to end up being, like you said, Trapper's Alley, all over the damn place.
But it
But
was the trappers that gave us the best shit, right? I mean, my act of gold came from someone who knew what they were doing.
yeah,
You know, it's not going to be the Jimmy Buffett Coral Reefer Madness strains brought to you by Wrigley Gum or whoever the hell is sponsoring it this week.
Bo
You
Wrigley
know,
was part of that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, just so you know, when they bombed that boat off the coast of Venezuela, they intelligence said they think that somebody had fentanyl in their back pocket, which is why they had to blow that ship out of the water, even though they didn't
man,
know what the hell it was or who the hell was on it.
they blew up a fishing boat with a Hellfire missile. They could have just ran it over with a destroyer and saved us the fucking tax dollars. But here we are.
Or they could have just stopped it and boarded it and confiscated it. And,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
exactly.
here's my take on this, guys. That
Wait a minute. Introduce yourself.
Oh, sorry, Vinny with Kushy Pies. They know who I am, bro. One time I'm here, they know who we are. No, but for real, the justification they're using on this boat is saying that it had 4 motors, right? I get it. That goes really fast, but what do you think? Drugs have never been smuggled. The humans have never been smuggled in a fishing boat with just 1 motor. Because what this is doing is opening it up to just attack fishermen left and right between Venezuela and its destination. So that boat wasn't destined to go to the Americas. It wasn't going to make it all the way to the United States.
It did not have the fuel to get
it was going
whatever it is 2,000 miles to get to the United States, since it's right next to fucking Trinidad.
12
Can you get
12
from the United States to Trinidad in one tank of gas on a cigar? What they call a cigar boat?
I didn't think so, but I know
Carlos is our resident Cuban. Carlos, you tell us, can you get from the Caribbean to the United States on the same?
No, farther back.
Guys, you can make it anywhere from in the Caribbean to the United States with a wooden front door, some styrofoam, and a couple of used tires. No problem. I'll put that together for you guys.
So basically, anything that you can find floating in the ocean.
Honestly, since there's no engine, we'd probably be able to smuggle a bunch of weed too.
I think that's why they blew the boat up. They thought it was.
Yeah, you don't really need gas. You just need somebody who's had a couple of papooses, put them on the end of the boat and let them flatulate for a while. It'll move that boat right forward all the way to the United States.
Well, I think this brings us full circle into our topic today, and our guest is that all in all, we need to rely on small businesses to give us quality cannabis.
Here.
And that's where Carlos, that's why I know Chillum is very, very successful, is that you do make sure that you get quality products before you put them on the shelf, whether that is on your mycology side or whether that's on the hemp side of the products that you're selling. Even on the tobacco products that you have in your glass. There are some products out there in some glass that are just shit, and you make sure that when you're sourcing that you're getting quality product. And then our guest today, Kushy Pies. Y'all have been in business for several years, and the quality of product never disappoints. Each and every time your Kushy Pies experience, sometimes is even better than the last. And I think that is all a testament to the lady in the middle, the chef extraordinaire.
Thank you.
So Hannah, tell us a little bit about the pride that you take in just making sure that people's experiences are solid each and every time.
First of all, yes, I'm Hannah. I'm the chef CEO, and I make sure every single product is made with lots of love. So that's part of being a small business, so that I can ensure that it's quality, that there's love in every jar or cookie, brownie, whatever it may be. And it's delicious. You can actually taste your dessert. Whereas some people would say some other edibles is straight weed. And that was not my goal. My goal is to make sure that you can enjoy what you're eating.
You hit that on the head. There's nothing more irritating than to bite into an edible and like you could taste the chlorophyll. You just like, oh wow, what is this? It's just straight plant, you know. And you're right, it's not enjoyable. But every time I have like a coconut cream cushy pie, I am both happy and excited, and at the same time, I'm also getting elevated. And I think that's fantastic. Also, I think it's fantastic that you also offer, family friendly options in the
Yes.
sense that you can get non-medicated stuff. Like your stuff is that good. It's like, okay, I got shit to do today. I'm gonna get the non-medicated one.
Yes.
You know, or hey, this is so good. I want my kids to try it. It's like,
Now,
That's really
I
what it is.
bought an
Yeah,
ounce of shake in 2019 and decided to make it into a pint of a can of butter using my magic butter machine, which has been used at least none time since then. And I finally figured that I should probably just dump it out because number one, I couldn't open up the jar anymore. The, the little shield there stuck the cap to the thing, so I could no longer pull it off anymore. The gasket was just like frozen solid.
Mm.
But also, I had a feeling that it might not be good after 12 years or 10 years, however many years. No, it was 6 years. It's been 6 years since I made that stuff. But every time that I made some snickerdoodles, whatever with the stuff, it tasted like crap. I mean, I couldn't put enough cinnamon on the damn cookie to keep me from being able to taste the weed.
The weediness.
You know,
Well,
So you have to have the secret to knowing how to do that, because I had one of your, I think it was pistachio cookie pies, and I could not figure out where in that product the THC was hiding.
I
But
am not a
and it hid well.
pistachio person. I'm not a pistachio person, but pistachio cushy pies made me like pistachio.
Yeah,
That's-
I like pistachio now
just for
because
the record,
of that
man,
pie.
it took me 18 months to convince her to do the pistachio. Like I asked numerous times. It's all started with like a infused key lime pie in a jar, then strawberry,
Well,
then cookies and cream.
We had
pistachio.
we did you introduce yourself, Vinny? Has everybody been introduced?
Yes.
Yeah, I do want to go back to Hannah real quick because Gary touched on something. Hannah, for some people who are watching, it's more than just getting a magical butter machine and start making edibles. Tell us a little bit about the process. Like you had it. You're legit. You got licenses. You got certificates from Department of Agriculture. You've been subject to inspections. Like, walk folks a little bit through about the challenges of entering into this space in your experience thus far.
Well, first of all, when you use a magical butter machine, you can't really properly dose. It's
Mm.
a guessing game, and that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure we're providing accurate amounts of THC dosing so that when we're suggesting or when somebody's indulging, that they're not eating 200 milligrams when it's only supposed to be 5. So we want to make sure that we're providing a enjoyable dessert so that, and we tell this, I had customers on Friday, first Friday, that has never tried an edible at all. And I said, start with a 5 milligram cookie, because as much as I would love to sell you a 50 or 200 milligram jar pie, reality is it's so good, you're not going to stop. And I do not want you to have a bad experience, because once you're on that high, you're going to have to ride it out. And I don't want anyone's first time that has never had an edible or my product to have a 200 milligram jar and they can't stop eating it because it tastes so good. Um, and then now they're having a bad experience and they'll never try cannabis again. So, exactly. So, I think we've all had that same story where you've had too much and it was just not an enjoyable experience. And that is not what Cushy Pies is about. Cushy Pies wants to provide a dessert that not only will you enjoy, but you can have the effects afterwards and you know what you're going to be feeling. And there's proper dosing on all of my jars and all of my labels. It tells you exactly how to consume my products. There's ingredients, there's COAs. It is 100% state by Florida FDAX, approved for child-proof packaging.
Yeah, and I noticed that too. Like, walk us through the evolution, because I remember when we first started things were a little bit different, right? You could have flashy packaging.
Oh, yeah.
Now
all the flash out of it. No flashiness. It looks so
Basic.
mundane and basic compared to what what this logo over here is about. So
Yeah.
Where is the sloth on your package?
there's no
We're
fluff.
not allowed to have that.
Fluff, there's no color. There's no nothing. Like the only color you'll see is the infusion warning sign, just to let you know, hey, there's something in here that you have to be 21. Everything on here says about
Which,
21.
by
But
the
best
way,
part that we're real proud of, this is childproof.
it's childproof.
Childproof packaging. So
When we had our inspection this year, our inspector even had a problem with the red THC on there. And I said, but wait a minute, hold on. Hear me out on this. If everything is black and white and you see nothing that's going to tell you otherwise, and you're not reading the packaging, then how would you know that this has THC in it? That right there, red means stop, right? When we tell our kids red means stop. So if there's a red THC sticker on there, to them, red is going to automatically say, hey, what is this? So it's also part of education. So that's why we keep that red sticker, is for recognition, especially when everything else is black and white.
And I appreciate the attention to dosing. There, in DC, they don't necessarily do that. You buy a cookie, it's just in a plastic wrapper. You don't necessarily know what you're getting, and it's like getting on the Kumba. After that, those things go down and you start to roll. You're on that ride until it's over. There's nothing you can do about it.
Kato, that's like when we get the first time users or the newbies in cannabis, and they're like, I want the 200, give me the strongest one. And I tell them, I'm like, look, there's a dosage recommendation.
Yeah.
But if you can't control yourself or you just go for it all, you eat it all. My advice to you is just go lay out in the front yard and just hold on so you don't fall off the earth, because that's what it's gonna feel like.
It's like playing Mike Tyson Punch Out. Like little Matt, you got to go up against Glass Joe first. You just don't skip to the end.
Build yourself up, correct?
Yeah,
it has an effect, and you take too much at one time, as Hannah said, it's going to be unpleasant. Nobody wants to feel a bad experience.
Yeah.
All right, so those guys who still want to do the Tide Pod challenge, stay away from edibles.
No, please stay away from that. You're gonna kill yourself, and that's not good. You're gonna get that's one of those times when they really need the poison control number. If you ingest the Tide Pod, they're gonna do something to you at the hospital to try to get that out of your stomach. Whereas if they find that it's a THC ingestion, aka cannabis overdose, they don't administer anything. They sit with you, they come and check on you periodically, and they keep you hydrated, but they don't pump your stomach, they don't administer any type of remedy, because there's no such thing as a lethal dosage of cannabis. So
I mean, there's that cinnamon alcohol that they sell in the ABC stores, the Fireball. I think that stuff is like the teenage cursor for vomit.
Yeah.
I mean, they should put a label on that saying, if you're stupid enough to drink this entire bottle, number one, you are the stupidest person on the face of the earth. Number two, get it to a toilet fast.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because a study just came out. There was data published in the journal Drug and Alcohol Dependence that said using cannabis prior to drinking results in significantly less alcohol consumption. Subjects reduced their intake of alcohol by 25%, according to researchers at Colorado State University. In that data is also unique and similar to survey data that was published in the Harm Reduction Journal. 60% of cannabis consumers say their cannabis use results in less frequent alcohol consumption. So, we talked a little bit earlier about how the prison industrial complex and law enforcement want to keep this illegal, over criminalize it. Don't sleep on the alcohol industry either. They're losing money. I mean, in Canada, when they legalized it, less people are drinking. People enjoy cannabis. And then, if you enjoy smoking to keep you warm where it's cold, people enjoy that too. For some people, smoking is an issue. They have issues with asthma. So that's where things like Kushy pies present great alternatives. You have the opportunity with edibles to really get your dose, and you can take your dose and then go about your day, and it kind of a surprise. It kicks in a little bit later, and you feel better. Carlos, you've been a cannabis consumer. You're our resident pothead on the show. You always say it. Tell us a little bit, edibles or flower, like Like, just walk us through how you feel about it.
What are my preferences? Or
Well, just like your experiences, share the differences. Compare and contrast for the rookies
Yeah.
tuning into the show.
Would
Oh,
you
yeah.
think about if you came across somebody who could make an infused hamburger, would you eat it?
I might.
I might, yeah.
Maybe. I
I
got
mean,
kids
I'm
hamburger.
digging into him for being a vegetarian, guys.
I was gonna say, isn't he a vegetarian?
We can make a vegetarian burger.
Can't you
yeah, like a Krabby Patty infused.
infuse impossible meat? Can't you?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
How do you infuse meat?
You would have to use the can of butter or can of oil, I guess.
There
Wow.
is fat in meat. It would absorb the THC right away.
There you go, Hannah. That's an experiment. How do we make Carlos an infused vegan burger? Right?
You can do the sauces.
Yeah, we just do the sauces. Just infuse the sauce.
a
like we cook the
little
burger.
salsa in my life, huh?
Like Sugar Beard's infused ketchup that he makes.
Exactly. So you got the right. That's what I'm saying. Like an infused condiment sauce. Hey, big up Sugar Beard, man. We saw him last night. What's up, Josh?
Maybe infused condoms too, Vinny. For those more experimental people.
What they need, just the flavored ones. Get the flavor what you're looking for.
Terpenes.
Terpenes. She's absolutely correct. It's all about the terpenes.
That's another thing too. I'm glad you brought that up. Terpenes are such a cutting edge food science, if you will, in the cannabis space. For so long, we were worried about THC content, and then we started worrying about ratios of cannabinoids to other cannabinoids to get different effects. But terpenes are the thing that people are paying attention to now. Which terpenes are going to give you certain effects, and which terpenes flavor profiles. So much so that folks who want to just push stuff onto the market will just spray food grade terpenes on shitty bud and then put it out there like it's good stuff. And so that's something to be aware of as well for consumers in the market.
And in Michigan, I should
It's
tell
called
you this.
sprays.
Well, in Michigan right now, what Jamie Lowell is working on right now is trying to get folks to stop over infusing terpenes onto pre-rolls, because they actually have these pre-rolls that are infused with extra terpenes to the point where the terpene level is like at 6 or 7%, which is outrageous. It's going to be all flavor and like no zing. But they also have THCA powder at the end, which they call snow capping, and then they have a line of concentrate in the center of these guys, and they're infusing and infusing and infusing. And it gets to a point where the infusing is getting confusing.
Well, they even infuse the papers. I think Juicy J has a line of papers that are like blueberry flavored.
Like trying to solve each problem after you're like, there's way too many terpenes. There's way too many fucking terpenes. There's not enough THC, so they just fucking dip it in THC.
They add it inside.
I think anytime somebody wants to sell more delimonene to Truly, they ought to get their hands slapped.
Now there's too much THC, so they fucking took some CBD and they just fucking jammed it in there.
These mad scientists in the adult use market are just out of hand. We need, like I said, let's go back to what Hannah said. It's about love. It's about taking pride in the products that you produce. And that is the problem with corporate cannabis. There's no pride. There's no love. Carlos, you wrote an article, which I know you got dropping around the labor movement in the cannabis industry. Cannabis workers at MSOs are tired of being exploited. We've had people actually die working for major multi-state operators. Whether it's they didn't take proper precautions for people to breathe in the stuff that they were breathing in after doing pre-rolls all day, or whether it's people in unsafe working environments, and there's dangers out there for folks to work in these 100-degree grow houses. In Florida, if you had to work in a non-air conditioned grow house, and then even then we talk about mold and fungus. I mean, people breathe that in too. So it is not the quality that you see on the corporate video on the website in the vast majority of places.
Right? Like 10, actually now like 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? There was a thing called the green rush that the local media was talking about in Florida, right? Everybody was excited for the cannabis industry to come to Florida. Everybody was coming, taking fucking seminars and webinars and going to fucking marijuana schools in Tampa.
Your chance to be first.
After you finish growing all those damn peppers and tomatoes, yeah.
Yeah, there were fucking schools out there, believe
Yeah,
it
there
or
were.
not, that were growing fucking peppers instead of marijuana.
Tomatoes too.
Tomatoes too. Fucking making people clone tomato plants.
And getting raided by TPD for growing tomatoes. Let's not forget that.
Like 3 days in a row, the green team showed up.
Look, all we were doing was just measuring how much potassium to pour into this bucket. That's all we were doing.
Phosphorus.
So there was all this excitement for the cannabis industry to come to Florida, right? And then the cannabis industry comes to Florida, and hopefully I get the right fucking yeah.
But let's be honest.
The cannabis industry becomes this corporate thing, and there's these fucking CBD laws that are passed where only 4 people get into the industry.
Yeah.
And those 4 people fucking or corporations, right, are the only ones that are grandfathered in. And damn it, they hardly bring anybody in. You notice that?
The Florida cannabis industry
without a fucking license in Florida.
Yeah, the best analogy for the Florida cannabis industry is after all that time, you finally get to hook up with that beautiful person, whether you like male or female, whatever you float your boat. And then you get there and the snooch is dry as the Sahara, or the noodle is like macaroni and it just doesn't get hard. It's just so disappointing to have that 10 and then you got a dry snooch or a wet noodle, you know?
Holy
I'm trying to follow along with Kano here. Just could you elaborate more on the snooch?
It's like a wah-wah.
You know, it's like, oh man, I can't wait to get into that. And then finally, and then it's like, really?
I think it's
This what I did. This is what I bought that Coach bag for. Yeah. This is what it is.
But it just kind of going back to, it's like the whole thing with corporate. It just it's lost its soul. You know what I mean? Like the cannabis, the products you're getting out of it, it's just people just trying to make it's all numbers for them. It's just trying to make $1. Whereas that they don't care about the product. They don't even know about the strains, the plant, anything where it's coming from. They
got no integrity.
Definitely no integrity like Integrity Farms. No, not at all.
Bring up an article actually that came out about this that I believe it was on Beard Bro Farms or whatever that
Beard Bros.
It was basically about how corporation, like cannabis used to be a social thing, when you smoked weed, you fucking hopped into a cipher with your fucking friends.
It's the only drug. You hit it and you're past it. That's your reaction. Natural reaction.
And then that culture became replaced with corporate culture. And True Leaf and Cure Leaf and all of that bullshit.
Ooh.
Yo, and to go back to something you were saying before, how people are consuming more cannabis and drinking less alcohol. This is something that the alcohol companies are noticing, and this is something that the corporate companies are noticing.
And tobacco.
And that's why there's now True Leaf, Cure Leaf, and I think Green something. All have hemp beverages that are in liquor stores.
Yeah. If you go to Total Wine, you can get certain THC beverages. They have their own little aisle right now. And there's as a cannabis consumer, that's exciting, right? You're getting more access. You don't have to have a medical marijuana card to walk in and get a drink from Total Wine. You just got to be over 21.
Yeah.
But the way that they're trying to make this to box out actual hemp companies, small businesses, that part's not cool. You know what I mean? Is like, if you really want you want customers to come to you, make better products. Stop putting out garbage, and people are gonna want your stuff. But instead, they put out garbage products and just try to legislate it to where the consumer can only buy from them and hurt small businesses. And
they did that in Maryland. I sat through a committee hearing last year, and they had a bill to allow for cannabis events, but you weren't going to be allowed to smoke at those events. And I know, Vinny, that is your pet peeve. We've had this conversation so many times.
That's why I've turned down, a couple of It's not just with you guys. That's with everybody. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like, what do you mean we can't
if
smoke?
we can't smoke. Then
But they wanted to allow
why are we here?
THC infused beverages were okay. So I'm like, so what? I'm supposed to have a meetup and drink THC infused White Claw. That's what I can do in the state of Maryland. That's what your great idea is for this event license. And and I wanted to, it's so hard to keep your decorum in a state Senate committee meeting because you'll get bounced out, but you just want to stand out and yell, "Are you fucking stupid?" The desire to want to just yell that out at politicians sometimes is just overwhelming. And you touched on a little bit too, like the multi-state operators, the corporate cannabis, they know that they're losing this battle. According to data published in the American Journal of Preventative Medicine, adults are twice as likely to consume Delta 8, THC products, and other novel cannabinoids in jurisdictions where cannabis is criminally prohibited, where there's no adult use cannabis market. University of California at San Diego and Stanford University assess Delta 8 THC use patterns nationally, and they're consistent with prior studies. I mean, we even had Dr. Block on the show 2 years ago talking about this. People are going to the hemp market because two key things. One, they don't have access to adult use. We don't have legal, safe, reliable, affordable access. We don't have home grow. So people are going to get easily to access products. You can walk in to Chillum. You can get a Kushy Pies there, and you don't have to go through the hoops of getting a doctor, having a medical card. It's still 21 and up. Carlos doesn't let kids in the store like that. He's not selling to minors. So, I mean, Florida changed its tobacco laws to 21 and up. So, I mean, I think that's that in itself, is it just makes sense to why that they're trying to crack down. They don't like the competition because they bet the farm on the fact that they told their investors, you're going to make billions in this industry. And then on the policy side, they got held up. The amendment not passing was devastating. They spent $144 million of their money to try and get Amendment 3 passed last election cycle. Now they're dumping even more money into it. You see the hurdles going up. The politicians who didn't get their checks are butthurt. So like Ron DeSantis, so they're trying to make it harder to put constitutional amendments on the ballot for regular citizens and for the rest of us. Not everybody has the luxury of hiring a top flight legal team like True Leave to battle the Supreme Court. So environmental groups are suffering, civil rights groups are suffering in all of this. And then they want to make it to where you got to jump through all these hoops to register as a petition gatherer. I remember collecting petitions for United for Care in 2015 and, actually seeing real, actual homeless people making money and making bank, being able to collect petitions. And now they don't want that to happen either. So we keep seeing these hurdles, and it's like, politicians are making it worse. Corporate cannabis is making it worse. And then meanwhile, there's small businesses like you all trying to strive through all of it and make a difference.
And yet there's also a situation in regards to the fact that there are small businesses who are actually fighting their opportunity to make more and do more because of false ideas they may have. I can tell you that if Smart and Safe were actually smart, as well as safe, they would actually play nice with the hemp industry. Because the hemp industry was one of the reasons that their fucking amendment went down last time.
Yep. And they play nice in the advocacy sector. They'd be supporting what we're trying to accomplish by bringing safe and affordable access, by bringing home grow to everyone, and by making sure that we can get the legislation passed so you don't get your kids taken away or you don't lose your job. But do you see them getting behind any of that? Are they using any of their clout to do that? And the answer is no. They only want to make money by any means necessary, whether it's destroying the three small business owners up at the top of the screen or taking down all the hard work that you're doing, Gary, and your advocacy, and in all of it.
What they're doing with the child-proof packaging, because if it was really about protecting the children, what about alcohol and all the other drugs that are out there? If it was really about protecting the children, why are we not creating an educational program that has on numerous times been presented to the the state capitol and to FDAC so we can come up as a collective of how to educate children. It's not about protecting the children. It's about getting all the small businesses out. And they know that by requiring a childproof packaging, it's going to eliminate a lot of businesses because it's going to cost more money to provide for those childproof packaging.
Now,
Indeed.
my good friend over in Fort Lauderdale, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, very nice lady. She's actually shorter than I am, so we see eye to eye in some cases. But in other cases, she happens to be taking a lot of money from the alcohol industry. So, Debbie, if you're listening, and know you like listening on the show, probably not. But I suggest you put together a bill that makes the alcohol industry be forced to go with the same labeling recommendations that we have for cannabis here. Let's get that fireball stuff wrapped up in white paper and black letters and see how many high school kids say, yeah, I want that at my prom.
I mean, look, there's always going to be a level of youthful rebellion. And the ironic part about it is cannabis has become more mainstream. You see the teen use rates actually have dropped in America. Back when we were at the height of prohibition during the Bush administration, teen use rates were up. But as we've seen, the legal states come along, as we've seen in Canada with full legalization across their country. Hell, even Mexico is moving forward with legalization. And we're seeing more and more and more that the kids are not trying to do that. I mean, I think the biggest issue kids have right now, that's why they increased the tobacco laws, we're getting access to nicotine vapes. And at some point, they were just, I don't even know what they're smoking in those vapes, And vape lung is a real issue among people in their early 20s right now.
I think they call it popcorn lung. The
Yeah.
effects of extended vaping, and you don't know really what you're putting in your body. So
I remember in my 20s, one of the big issue was people smoking that gas station incense and salvia and everything else that you didn't know what was what. I remember that K2 epidemic we had in my 20s as well. Now I'm in my 40s and I look back and it's like I worry for my kid in 20 years. What's going to be their ridiculous epidemic? And a lot of it goes back to corporations just pumping shit out there and trying to make a buck. And all in all, you have the politicians talking shit about, oh, well, you can get this at any gas station. Yeah, but what has that got to do with the small business owners like yourself who actually do things the right way, who go through the hoops, who get the licensing? Why are we making y'all suffer for these bad actors? Deal with those bad actors. Why are they raiding Smokey Jones? We had a whole episode last week about Smokey Jones getting raided. Why the fuck are they getting raided? Why don't you go raid that bodega that you're talking shit about? Why don't you go handle that?
Or better yet, if you're worried about the safety of a product, don't go after the fucking retailer. Go after the processor and the person who's packaging it, because they're the ones who are adulterating the product. They're the ones who are not packaging it properly. Although, I'll be honest with you, I would not buy bud at a gas station. I mean, they don't know what's in their fucking hot dogs on the roller thing. How would they know what the hell is in their butt?
Gary, I bought a pack of raw. I bought a pack of raw cones from 7-Eleven just because it was convenient, right? They're fucking Chinese bootlegs. They got the little plastic tubes in them. And Josh Kesselman has been clear. If you buy raw and it has a plastic tube in it, those are the bootlegs. Real raws have the cardboard tubes in the middle.
See, I've never even thought about knockoff rolling papers, but
yeah,
I guess what I was going to say was like, if let's say this, when people make the argument that if you get cannabis-based products from a gas station compared to an MMTC, that they're less effective. My question or my argument would be, if you have a headache and you go get Advil from a convenience store, you get a pack of condoms from a convenience store, does that make them any less effective because they weren't purchased at a pharmacy?
Ooh.
I don't believe that that's the case. I would actually argue completely against that. But this is the first time I've ever heard about counterfeit raw papers, and I'm sure Josh Kesselman will he'll root that out. He'll make sure and find ways with his high energy. Shout out Josh, man, he's a good dude.
Yeah, Josh, we have welcomed you on the show several times.
Yeah,
you have ghosted me several times. I will track you down to Taiwan if I have to drag your ass in here.
People often ask on the show. People will often criticize and ask, why is Gary a part of the organization? Because he's persistent, damn it. because I know Gary will send 50 emails and he will make 100 phone calls until that person capitulates to becoming a guest on the rotation. And God damn it, that is Gary's amazing value that he adds to this organization. And anybody who doesn't like Gary can fuck off, because I don't see you hustling and making 100 phone calls to make sure we got great guests on the rotation.
Yeah, I can tell you that there's been a couple of guests who have said, "All right, I'll come on, just give me my dog back." I mean,
Oh man,
but
it's like that movie with Norm Macdonald and Dave Chappelle where they kidnapped that guy's dog for ransom. Gary, you coming on the rotation or Fluffy gets the boot.
that's right. But I wanted to talk a little bit about quality product and knowing what the heck is in it, because that, I think, is an issue. I mean, when you buy a Kushy pie, you know what is in it. You know, besides love, what the other ingredients are in. But when you buy from a trapper who makes edibles, maybe they make Rice Krispie treats, maybe they are using a magic butter machine, which means they take their bud, they decarboxylate it in their oven, and they have absolutely no idea what the THC content is. Once they put that butter in there, they have no way of measuring it or any of that sort. So can you trust it? But you can trust.
I wouldn't trust a trapper who uses Rice Krispies, because General Mills does not put quality ingredients in their products.
Oh yeah, let's get down on Monsanto first. I seriously want to say that it's always good to know that you're getting what you're getting. If you go over to the Grove and you get a higher flour cookie, you know what is in that cookie. Same thing with Kushy pies. You know that besides love, and I'm sorry if you guys are anti-Iranian, you gotta like pistachio. That's.
I look, Gary. I think the fact that small business owners like Kushy Pies, like Chillum, take the time to be thoughtful in what they do makes all the difference in this industry. No one ever said you couldn't make money in the cannabis industry. The problem is that when you make money at the expense of consumer safety and consumer quality, and I think that is the issue that we're seeing all across the country right now. Not to sound anti-capitalist. I am not anti making money. I am anti making money and hurting people in the process. Sure. And I think that is the biggest distinction that we have right now in this country, across any sector, across any industry. Is there are some folks who do amazing work, and that's the thing too, is that you walk into a store, you see all these different types of products and all these different labels and brands. And the truth is that 98% of them are all owned by the same companies. Mm-hmm. Very few small businesses are able to be successful, get their stuff on the shelves, compete with the big dogs. And then the ones that do, they either will beat you to death in court, or they'll just buy you out outright. And I mean, Hannah, if someone came to you tomorrow and said, "Hey, we're going to offer you $5 million for the Kushy Pies brand," I'm pretty sure you and Vinny are going to go ahead and retire to Trinidad and call it a day, right?
It depends on the company. We've talked about this.
Yeah, we've had this conversation.
We've been thorough. Like, I would not sell out to certain companies that
you gotta have some integrity.
I know that they're not going to treat Kushy Pies with integrity, with passion that I do. And that's part of why I have not sold out, is because I know that if I do, I'm no longer in charge.
Chris, like you say, if they were to buy us out, right? Well, especially one of those big ones that just so far have kind of done a lot of things to try to stop us. My biggest fear is that they would be buying us just to shelve us, just to put us away, block us away in a safe, and just never see nothing again from Kushy Pies. And which would be, I guess that's one thing. It'd be no more fun for what we're doing, but we'd take that capital and we just do something else, bigger, better, even more bold.
So you get your weekends back and you go back to doing something else.
Huh? To be clear, Chillum will sell for $5 million. Whoever the fuck wants to give me $5 million.
Doesn't matter what your intentions are.
Yeah, take it.
Carlos is like, please buy me out by all means. I got 2 shots. The prime location.
Here's what I want to know, because I've had a Kushy pie. I kept on wondering what would be the best thing to have with the Kushy pie. I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a cold pint of Bahang? If I pronounced that correctly.
Bang. Yeah.
Bahang, yes. How about a cold bottle of Bahang to go with your Kushy pie? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Can you do it?
You know what's good with a good cushy pie, Gary? Hannah actually has infused iced tea and lemonades. And I think that the cushy pie infused iced tea and lemonades go perfect on a hot day as you're having like a coconut cream cushy pie. It's delicious.
Or some snow cones.
The cushy pie snow cones that we had at Dab Day, delicious. Thank you so much for donating those. They were an amazing fundraiser for Normal, and I think that that is definitely something people really enjoyed.
It is so easy to sell snow cones when it's 110 degrees outside, by the way.
It is, right? It's a lot easier selling snow cones when it's hot outside.
It's a lot harder to make them and keep the ice as ice until the people actually get to the front of the line, though.
Honestly, now that I have you here, Hannah, I have to kind of give you kudos because, like, I know Kano had like nothing to contribute for like how to set up that fucking snow cone section.
He did a great job.
You worked it out. You figured out how to fucking build a snow cone like whole fucking system. You know what I mean?
Man. Yeah. Yeah. We just had an idea, snow cones, and Hannah was like, "I got you." And they provided the tent. They made sure that we were good with all the syrups. We had the infused and the non-infused. I mean, people were really enjoying it. I remember one person came back like 4 times throughout the day. And I mean, every time it was like, "You want it infused?" Yeah, I think someone dropped probably at least $100 that day on infused snow cones.
That's how you just keep pumping. Just keep pumping.
Just keep pumping.
In fact, last night at the event we were at, somebody was like, "Hey, you guys were at Dab Days. We saw you guys at Dab's." Like, wasn't quite us, but the crew was there. The tent, they recognized the tent. So again, thank you guys so much for
brand recognition
for representing, at all times, and we're very happy to provide.
Thank you all for donating, and that brings us full circle into
that was a good tent for like it was fucking hot.
That's what
the day.
And the thing about the Cuban Club, there's no trees,
and there was a whole
it's all asphalt.
And there was a whole AC system out set up, like
I had a cooler that's also an AC, so that worked out well. It kept the ice and blow the cold air on us, so that was nice. So and Hannah, I want to thank you for that sponsorship because it really did make the difference in raising money for Suncoast Normal and for making Dab Day, which was a very hot day, very bearable. And you are also sponsoring our upcoming Puff and Paint experience on October 4th. At the Battle Buds Bunker. Shout out to Jennifer and Tammy for running Battle Buds. Carlos, if you could take the there we go. All right, so Puff and Paint, October 4th, Saturday. Doors open at 9:00. You can get your tickets now at suncoastnormal.com. Carlos will drop a link there in the chat. I put a link in the private chat, Los. Follow us on Instagram as well. And Kushy Pies is going to be providing the VIP experience. You can decorate your own trap bag with a VIP ticket. So you'll get a trap bag that you can decorate. It'll be filled with goodies from Kushy Pies, as well as Kushy Pies will be out there with all of its amazing products, being able to support, both what we're doing and raising money for advocacy and for just a really chill, good time. Now, Hannah, this is not your first Puff and Paint that you all have done at Battle Buds. Tell us a little bit about this experience. I know, it's going to be a lot of fun, and just tell us a little bit about what folks can expect from Kushy Pies at Puff and Paint.
So if anyone has come to any of our previous Puff and Paints, you get a canvas that you can paint. We'll have different options for you to choose from that will be pre-sketched out for you. We'll provide the paints as well as the paint brushes for you to utilize. And if you get the VIP experience, there will be a nice cooler bag that will look very similar to this, or maybe a lot more color. And then
some goodies in it.
Goodies provided by Kushy Pies, of course. And Battle Buds is an amazing it's our stomping ground. We love Battle Buds, and being around Tammy and Jen and all the folks over there is just an amazing vibe. And if anyone's looking for a chill, cool,
just
what else?
A good spot to be at, man. Pure good vibes. I mean, when you're over there, you don't know who's gonna come in there. It's such an eclectic bunch.
You like to people watch.
And the thing is, we got just so much love for Battle Buds. I mean, they were actually the first people to carry our freezers, to carry Kushy Pies, just like how we have here, and chill them at both locations. So they're definitely part of the Cushy Pies family, and we're just so honored to be able to sponsor and be part of this event with Suncoast Normal, to bring back the paint and vibes from Cushy Pies. You know, for a while we ran under that puff and paint moniker, and then we just realized too many people were biting it, so then it went to paint and vibes by Cushy Pies, and we haven't done any type of event for like a year with the painting, so we're really happy to have this event in October. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, I think the weather's going to be changing, so it won't be hot. Battle Buds has a great venue in that you can smoke because it's outdoors. They have a stage there, which always has great music. So it's going to be an amazing event, and it's a chill type of night for a great date. You know, if you got, whether it's a first date or you and your partner just want to get away for a little bit, you know, it's just an amazing venue for some adult vibes, low key. It's definitely a different pace than being in the Ybor crowd or having to be down there at Channelside. You can come to West Tampa. It's right off of Armenia in Columbus. And for my LGBTQ members and fans out there, there's also an LGBTQ I guess you call it a gentleman's club. There's a lot of gentlemen in there shaking that ass.
It's a different type of vibe over
It's
there.
called Johnson's, right? Yeah.
It's not the gentleman's club. What I was thinking, it was a gentleman's club. There was gentlemen's in that tent.
There are gentlemen in there working for them dollars. So you know, shout out to all our LGBTQ fans and members. Come on down. It'll be a great evening. You can puff and paint, and you can go to the after party at Johnson's. So
we love those guys, man. A lot of those the entertainers from Johnson's, they come over to get their Cushy Pies during the day. So yeah, man, it's a lot of fun down there at Battle Buds, 2806 North Armenia.
I thought it was 2608.
Okay, 2608.
It's on the flyer.
It's on the flyer.
And folks can go to our website, go to suncoastnormal.org, get your tickets now. We do have a limited amount of VIP tickets. There's only 20 if you want one of those limited edition trap bags to decorate. So get them now before they sell out. Also, if you just want to chill, sit, and vibe, we have general admission available. If you're a Suncoast Normal member, there's free general admission available to you. So, you know, go ahead and sign up to become a member of Suncoast Normal. If your dues are up to date, you can just get in and chill. But if you want to paint, we do have a standard ticket for those who want to paint. And like I said, we have a VIP ticket as well. So a lot of fun all the way around. And the best part of all of it, all proceeds go to legalize it. It goes to our advocacy efforts. It goes to what we're trying to do here in Florida with truth and labeling in the cannabis industry. The proceeds are going to go to making sure you don't lose your kids as a cannabis patient, making sure that you don't lose your job as a cannabis patient. We've had guests on over the past several weeks covering all of these topics, and each and every week we're going to continue to work to bring you bigger and better guests, to making sure that we highlight the issues that are important to you as a cannabis consumer. And we hope that we can count on your support. So if you're watching right now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Maybe you're on YouTube, maybe you're watching us on X or Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, but give us a share, give us a like, hit the subscribe button. And it takes a second for you. It means the world to us to continue to uplift this algorithm. This show, I have to give a shout out. Started out in Carlos's garage. It's audio only. Just me and him shooting the shit in a rotation. And we have, we managed to elevate it to WTMP, which is Tampa's historically black radio station, for broadcasts on the AM band. Then we wound up on the FM band on WTMP. And now we broadcast on our own social media all across the country. And we have fans and normal chapters across the country watching us. And so we've even had people from normal France watching the show over in Europe. Again, shout out to everyone. I know Grady Judd watches the rotation on occasion because he's brought up things I've said in city council meetings. So we are definitely a watch show. And I think that it's important that we continue to educate folks. Like, for example, they're coming for a total THC ban in Florida next session. I know and some great is important for folks to know that we have to continue to push and fight back, and we got to stay organized. And if we don't, the powers that be are going to try and recriminalize this. And if not, they're going to definitely make sure that no small business owners, like the amazing small business owners we have with Hannah, Vinny, Carlos, can really be in this industry industry, and that really hurts to see that we have some great folks doing great things, and they continue to push and push and push and try to make sure that folks can't be a part of this, and that is just it irritates me. I mean, and then even the prohibitionists with their lame comments. So cannabis is a gateway drug. You know what, Vinny, you hit it on earlier. Cannabis
Gateway
is
to milk and cookies.
it's a gateway drug to learning how to grow tomatoes.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Bro, you
No,
learn
for real.
potassium and
Anybody that can grow
Nitrogen.
cannabis hemp, some mad kudos to you.
phosphorus.
That is the most finicky special plant to
She
grow.
is very finicky. I mean, trying to grow hemp, cannabis, any kind of cannabis-based plants here in Florida, especially outdoors. Man, God bless you if you could do it. It's very expensive. It's very
That's why I don't understand why they want to allow home grow.
yeah, because half the
Because-
people that are gonna try to grow, they're not gonna be able to grow it. They're gonna want to go right back to the store and buy it that's already made.
Yep.
And more importantly, if they allow for home grow, then they can get into the market of selling clones. You know what I mean? For those that do want to cultivate at home, we will come and buy our clones from you, and that way we're legal, you're legal. You know, it would be a
It's like they're stabbing themselves in the foot because they don't
really.
realize that by adding in home grow, let's be honest, it's like they already allow people to make their own alcohol, right? How many people are actually brewing their own beer?
right. You
So
can make beer in your garage, but how many people are actually doing it? I guess the illegality comes once you try to start selling those products. That's where the issues come in. But if you're just growing your own home bud, I don't think that should not be illegal. That
You guys remember when we had Charlie Crist on the show?
Yeah.
That's what he was saying. He was like, you can brew your own beer. You should grow your own
you
weed.
should be allowed.
you should be
I
able
agree with
to.
that.
For the
Like,
people
yeah.
that want to, they should be able to. But how many people are actually going to continue it? More importantly, it's an expensive start operation. The upfront cost is pretty costly.
Well, I think there's some news that you all should know as folks in the hemp sector that the federal farm bill, which is currently being debated, the feds need to pass a budget by the end of this month, or we're going to have a government shutdown. And they're currently trying to figure out how to properly classify cannabinoids and to distinguish hemp from marijuana under federal law and address it in the farm bill and exactly measure the 0.3% delta 9 THC limit. And this is all because of the Department of Transportation is now proposing a new rule that updates its drug testing guidelines and revises terminology around cannabis that is specifically related to THC. One of the interesting things is that the Department of Health and Human Services referred to Delta 9 THC merely as THC with no further specification, and that fails to distinguish between Delta 9 THC and Delta 8 THC, which is Delta 9 is typically found in what is considered marijuana, which is scientifically not right. It's all cannabis, but Delta 8 is found in federally legal hemp. And so the Department of Transportation is trying to update its nomenclature to talk about things. Also, THCA, according to Health and Human Services, used to refer to marijuana metabolite Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol 9 carbolic acid. And that conflicts with the more common meaning of THCA, which refers to delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinolic acid, in a which is non-psychoactive. And obviously you got to heat up THCA to turn it into delta 9 THC. And so the rules that are currently being finalized will definitely update that, and it will refer to THC metabolite as delta 9 THCC rather than just THCA. And this will also apply to all workplace drug testing policy of federal employees. There's currently a 45-day public comment period for interested parties to weigh in on the policy proposal. The DEA said last year that THCA it should be counted as part of the cannabis's total delta 9 THC. The decarboxylation process converts delta 9 THCA to delta 9 THC, and that's according to Terrence Booth, which is the DEA drug and chemical evaluation chief. And he said that for the purposes of forcing the hemp definition, the delta 9 THC level must account for any delta 9 THCA. So for those of you in the cannabis industry that are in the hemp sector right now, there's some moves being made in DC. And I just wanted, it was my duty as our resident DC correspondent to update you all. And that legislation moving through Congress is being heavily lobbied and influenced by the multi-state operators. They want to change the way the current hemp industry operates. They want to put folks out of business. They want to make it harder so they don't have their bottom line cut into. Because every time someone chooses to go into Chillum and purchase a product and purchase their bud or get a Kushy pie, all right, and is taking dollars, in their view, away from their products. And the truth is that the difference is the quality and attention and love that y'all put into it. I don't want to go spend money at one of these multi-state operators, one of these MMTCs in Florida, when I can get quality product from you all and not have to jump through all the hoops. And when I talk to you all, it's a conversation that's engaging and intelligent. Gary has said it time and time again. There are bud tenders like, well, this will get you high. And it's like, that's so irritating when you have real scientific questions, when you have real intelligent questions about what the frack is going on with what you're about to put in your body and being an informed consumer. So I'll get off my soapbox on that, but I think it's important for folks to know.
We can't make any claims to heal or cure anything, but we just like to kind of like point out, where do people heal the most is when they're resting, right? When you can actually get a good night's decent sleep. And we've said, numerous times, you take this too much of it, you're gonna take a nap. And that nap could be 3 hours, it could be 13 hours. It just depends on your tolerance for THC.
So with time dilation, if you sleep for 3 hours, would you have slept for 6 hours?
I don't know. You got to refer to the clock on that one.
If the time dilation field is 2-1, Gary, possibly.
Funny enough, how I a lot of times when folks ask me this, like, how is this really going to affect me? And now that we're in football season, I always tell them, I said, well, if you eat this whole jar, you consume this jar right now, like at the beginning of the game, by halftime, you're going to be passed out, and you're probably not going to wake up until the second game. So,
which, if you were watching the USF versus UF game, all the great stuff came in the fourth quarter last night. Shout out, go Bulls, for knocking off the Gators in the swamp. 2 great wins in a week. I just got to give a shout out to USF, knocking off Boise State, knocking off University of Florida. Next week, Miami's on the schedule.
Tell them, baby, we're coming to get them.
I got a feeling if USF can pull it off against Miami, they could be in the top 10 ranks, this season. And I'm pretty excited to see what they can put together as a program. I hope they can stay focused. I do know that there was some the quarterback apparently went to a frat party and stayed out past curfew, and coach was waiting for him in the lobby when he got back in. So yeah, so even getting punished and not doing what he's supposed to do, they still came out and showed their ass. And shout out to Grammatica for hitting the game-winning field goal.
Son of the legendary Martin Grammatica of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes.
Nico, if you're listening, your legend has just began. We're so proud.
Yes. We are proud as a city and as USF alumni to see the team kicking ass and taking names and really showing that Tampa has always been and always will be a powerhouse of football. Before we jump into the news, I wanted to go back to Hannah and tell us a little bit about, what's on the horizon for Kushy Pies. I saw you were at what's it called? The Grove yesterday.
Fierce Grove.
Social media. You have some amazing art now in different type of products. It's amazing to see the expansion and embracing of the culture that you've been doing. It's not just edibles, but you got some other great things that you got. Tell us a little bit about what's on the horizon for Kushy Pies.
So, well, if they do a total THC ban next year, gotta have a plan B in life. No, but I do enjoy baking. I do enjoy making desserts. and I do enjoy Kushy pies a lot. So, but as of June, what I did do is I invested in a laser machine, and I started making laser art and some wood, like engraving wood and cutting wood. And so, lasered up is my side hustle.
At Lasered Up.
Yes. So, I will be actually the canvases that Cushy Pies will be providing is going to be lasered engraved, so you can properly paint those.
That means I no longer have to do them by hand.
Nice.
So we
Very
might
nice.
have leveled up a little bit.
She's being modest. It's not just canvases and woods. She's over here doing acrylics, metals. Just I had no idea how wild she could get in with his designs and what she can do with these machines. So yeah, be on the lookout at Lasered Up. You're gonna see a lot more cool art
Creativity.
coming out directly from her. And I don't know. Hopefully one day there'll be like a viewing or art gallery here in Ybor. We can put something together.
So what I will say this, what I'm most proud of is, yeah, on Friday was his dad's birthday. I took an original photo of his mom and I engraved it, and of course I put it in a nice frame and presented it to his dad. And I kid you not, he was almost in tears when he saw us yesterday because
Yeah,
he
it's
loves that
That's
picture.
awesome.
Yeah, first my dad says like that's my favorite picture of your mom. It's like, yeah, we've heard this before, you know. So and my mom, I think she enjoyed it even more than him to see it. You know, she was real happy to point out this picture was taken in 1973. It looks so much better than the original. It's like, yeah, so
That's very cool. Very cool. You know, Hannah, ironically, you're sitting in a glass gallery right now. So don't wait for one of these high-end artsy fartsy art galleries when you got an amazing one right there on 7th Avenue that can display some of your work.
That's a
So,
good point. Yeah, that's a great point. We should do
yeah.
a lasered up. Yeah, we should
collaboration,
do a
Lasered Up,
collaboration.
chill 'em.
I actually would like to collaborate with you on some normal swag now that you got the lasered up. So that'd be great to get us some new normal swag up and running. So I'm pretty excited for that. And thank you again for sponsoring Puff and Paint. With all the proceeds going to legalization, and you all having done so many of these. And shout out to Battle Buds, there in West Tampa for making all the difference. 2608 North Armenia Avenue, Saturday, October 4th. Doors open at 9. Get your tickets. Get you a VIP trap bag. Sponsored by Cushy Pies, and come on out, have a great time. It's going to be a chill evening, which I think is amazing, and we're going to have a great time. Go to suncoastnormal.org right now and get your tickets. And with all of that, team, I think it's time for the normal news.
News with Big Kino.
So starting off at the top of the news, Emerson College puts out a poll. 2/3 of voters say legalizing marijuana nationally is a good idea. 65% think that legalizing marijuana nationally is a good idea, according to this survey data that they've compiled. That is a 5-point increase in support since they last posed the question a year ago. The strongest support for marijuana are respondents in their 40s. Shout out to us elder millennials. 74% say that it should be legal. And among those under the age of 30, 71% say it should be legal. All age groups, except for those over 70, endorse legalization. Again, if you're over 70 and you're still alive, cannabis can help you a lot. So maybe you should rethink that for those who are still on the no side of that. The results are consistent with numerous other national polls that find nearly 7 in 10 voters believe marijuana should be legal. The electorate is clearly ready for cannabis to be legalized for adult use. Legalizing and regulating adult use cannabis access is not just good policy, it's also good politics. State and federal politicians who continue to ignore their constituent sentiments on these issues do so at their own peril, according to Paul Armentano, Normal's national deputy director. Now, let's get into some of these states and how they feel about cannabis. I'm going to talk about some red states. I'm going to talk about blue states. And number one, shout out to the folks who worked really hard in Texas. On Monday, their legislation that expands patient access to state qualified medical cannabis patients took effect. Under the law, patients diagnosed with chronic pain, Crohn's disease, traumatic brain injury, or other newly eligible conditions may enroll in the Texas Compassionate Use Program and obtain a state licensed medical cannabis products. The new law also expands the pool of products available to include vapes, and increases the total number of licensed dispensaries that can operate in the state from 3 to 15. Holy shit. They only had 3 in a state as big as Texas, which is like our economy in size is bigger than most countries on the planet. At least now they're upgrading it to 15. According to the Texas Department of Safety, over 116,000 patients currently participate in their compassionate use program. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out and expands. So shout out to those folks in Texas who have been pushing, especially our normal chapters there. Now, moving on to blue state, the Delaware governor has vetoed a measure that sought to relax cannabis zoning restrictions. Democratic Governor Matt Meyer vetoed legislation last week, Senate Bill 75, that would impose statewide rules explicitly permitting retailers to operate within 500 feet of a place of worship, school, licensed child care center, residential treatment facility, park, library, and or within 1/2 mile of another retail marijuana store. The bill was introduced in response to some municipal lawmakers enacting more restrictive zoning laws and effectively imposing local bans on marijuana retailers. In his veto message, the governor said while he fully supports the goals of implementing a safe, equitable, and acceptable adult use cannabis market in Delaware, displacing local land use authority without offering any corresponding partnership or support is not how we build durable and effective policy or trust. State lawmakers approved legislation legalizing the adult use marijuana market in April 2023 in Delaware, but they didn't start retail sales until last month. Currently, consumers are only able to purchase cannabis at approximately about a dozen retail locations in Delaware. So we just talked about Texas. They got 15. Little tiny Delaware has a dozen, all of which are existing medical cannabis dispensaries that receive conversion licenses. So basically what they want to do in Florida, where the MMTCs get first crack at the adult use market. And ironically, this governor's veto is going to further delay consumers from gaining access to state licensed marijuana products and getting stuck into this currently, cartel-like structured system that's going to dominate their adult use market for years to come. Now, moving back over, we're kind of doing a sandwich here. We got a red state, a blue state. Going back to another red state, Nebraska has a state-appointed commission that approves new rules that undermine medical cannabis access. Members of the Nebraska Medical Cannabis Commission have approved additional regulations that limit patients' ability to access medical cannabis products. The passage of these new rules are awaiting final approval from Republican Governor Jim Pillen and mark the latest effort by regulators to undermine the voter-approved 2024 medical cannabis access law, which was voted in by a margin of 2-1 by Nebraskans. The previous rules approved by the commission in July repeal patients' access to flower, to botanical cannabis, limit the total number of state licensed dispensaries to no more than 12, and require physicians to specify which cannabis formulation, potency, and dose is appropriate for each patient. This is mind-blowing because these doctors in Nebraska have probably never had the real opportunity to titrate properly. It is just mind-boggling that they're making it this much harder. Commissioners approved additional regulations limiting the total of state licensed cultivators to no more than 4 and are requiring doctors to undergo 10 hours of medical education training prior to discussing medical cannabis therapy with their patients. The executive director of Nebraskans for Medical Marijuana, Krista Eggers, which is the group that led the successful ballot initiative, criticized the commission's decisions. And they say that by approving that pile of new barriers and unlawfully restricting forms of cannabis, they're dismantling what the people demanded at the ballot box. And it's a direct assault on patients, families, and the democratic process itself. Nebraskans voted for access to medicine, and instead the commission delivered defiance, obstruction, and betrayal. And this is definitely a slap in the face to voters and to democracy. So that is definitely something that is not going well when it comes to public policy. And so also when it comes to public policy, I think it's important to see that the Federal Appeals Court recently ruled in our favor. The 11th Circuit Court ruled that medical cannabis consumers should not lose their Second Amendment rights. The case was brought forward by a National Normal board member and former Florida Commissioner of Agriculture, Nikki Fried, and several medical cannabis patients, including some folks at the our allies at the Florida Cannabis Action Network, as well as the National Normal Legal Committee, which filed an amicus brief in the case that said neither the founders, framers, nor elected leaders of the United States, all of whom had intimate knowledge of the role of cannabis cultivation and consumption in their 13 colonies, took any legislative action to disarm consumers and their right to bear arms. So for all of you originalists, constitutionalists out there, no one should be treated as a second-class citizen under the law. I do know that recently it came out, Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice want to take the Second Amendment rights away from trans people. And the NRA came out and said, no, under no circumstances do you get Second Amendment rights. The government has held a 1968 federal law prohibiting or possession of sale of firearms to an unlawful user, as basically saying that, well, since it's illegal under the Controlled Substances Act, anyone with any history of marijuana use should be disqualified. The Trump administration requested the Supreme Court weigh in on the issue. So this could be decided at the Supreme Court level. We'll see how that all shakes out in the grand scheme of things. Now, one of the biggest things, I think, which is breaking news, and you may have seen Suncoast Normal in a recent press release in the past week, is that the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, the MORE Act, House Resolution 5068, has been reintroduced. The MORE Act actually was approved by the House of Representatives in historic votes in both the 116th and 117th Congresses. This will remove marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act entirely. This is not moving to Schedule 3. This is descheduling. We have a bill that's actually passed the House of Representatives now, and this bill will facilitate expungement of low-level federal marijuana convictions and incentivize state and local governments to take similar actions. It'll create pathways for ownership opportunities in the emerging industry, as well as other sectors of the economy for entrepreneurs who've been impacted by prohibition. It will allow veterans to obtain medical cannabis recommendations from their VA doctors in legal states. It will provide critical reinvestment grant opportunities for communities that have suffered disproportionate rates of marijuana-related enforcement actions, and it will protect and respect the basic rights and civil liberties of cannabis consumers under federal law when it comes to public benefits. So you can send a letter to your lawmakers right now. Well, Normal has written a pre-written letter. Go ahead and click the link. Go to the Normal Action Alert and send a letter to your members of Congress. Tell them to pass the MORE Act. Let's get this through Congress. Let's get this done and let's legalize it. So, and with all of that, team, that's the Normal news.
Okay, I'm looking forward, of course, to the Puff and Paint thing, which is a month away. So, if between now and October the 4th, we are craving a pistachio Kushy pie, where do we go? How do we get it?
Well, you can go to Chillum in Ybor or St. Petersburg. You can go to Battle Buds. You can go to Umo Smoke Shop if you're out in Clearwater. And you can go to kushypies.com or at kushypies to see the rest of the locations, because my mind kind of slips me at the moment.
Chill Coffee.
Chill Coffee in Valrico. There we go. Fuck yeah. I'm sorry. Big up Chill Coffee for sure. That's the driving force. The Smoke Bodega, the Indica Cafe, they are there. They got their roof back on. So big up yourself, guys. Like, just, what do you say? Just
They're
like,
rebuilding
their whole thing. I don't know if you guys are aware, but they were victims of arson. Their place was burned down, and they've been operating out of the side, like out of the patio that they built. Yeah, no, bro. They're definitely, let's put it like this. They were burned down, and they basically, within the first week, got things going off the side of their building, off of the patio that they had built. Right, they got their stuff back up and going, and they've been battling ever since. But they are rebuilding, and so yeah, man. Shout out Eileen, Lizzie, the whole gang over there. Yeah, Smoke Bodega, any cafe, you can definitely get it. But yeah, and then all the events, man. Just check the page, Kushypies.com, at Kushypies, at Instagram, Facebook.
We're supposed to be at the Velvet Gypsy tonight, but it depends on the weather. So
Right.
a lot of our events are weather contingent.
Yeah. Like if you want it tonight, you get it at Velvet Gypsy. But you can always just order it online. Like if you're local, I will deliver it to you or somebody will.
DM us.
Yeah, DM us. Just slide in the DMs. There you go. That's how the kids say.
So if you want Vinny knocking on your door,
I mean, this is contactless delivery. I don't want to knock on your door.
No, he does knock, and I will tell you why. Is he wants to make sure that who's ever getting the
For sure. I got to verify your ID. I got to verify the final person.
yeah.
So yeah, a lot of them is repeat customers.
so you can't get it at the gas station.
No.
No. Although if a gas station had a hemp food establishment permit and they had a freezer that was behind the counter so that the public couldn't get to it, I would have no problems putting my products out there.
Well, they got the snooze back there, right?
I don't know what else they got back there, but I mean, the law says it just can't be accessible to the public. Like a child can't be able to just walk up, like, pull the door open and get a Gatorade, a soda, and a Kushy Pie. It can't be like that. It's got to be behind the counter so that somebody is like serving it to them.
Which
so
is why whenever we put it in stores, we specify that only Kushy Pie should be in there, because if you're putting Mountain Dews
and it explodes, it makes a huge mess.
Well,
I've had to deal with
that
that
too,
already.
that
That's
too, yeah.
experience. But yeah, so
interesting thing. Yesterday, I was in downtown Rockville in Maryland, and I saw a sushi joint. And it instead of the name of the place, said sushi, it said Kushy, and it just brought my mind. Maybe we do a Kushy Pies a sushi event sometime. That could be fun.
Yes, we need to have some more Kushy sushi.
Yes, Kushy sushi.
I mean, that's the whole thing right there. We just, again, we infuse the sauces.
Some yum yum.
Yeah, the yum yum, the good, all of that.
Yeah. Carlos has the space there in St. Pete. Maybe we get some models to lay out. People like to eat sushi off of people's bodies. Could be a nice VIP experience type of thing.
Hey, wasabi's already green, right?
We'll have to,
yeah, absolutely.
And the green wasabi's not even real wasabi, Gary. It's horseradish with food coloring. So
what was it? It was Dixie Brands back in the day that did the event with like the girl with like lunch meat all over her. You guys remember that?
Like mimic the sushi of.
Okay. All right.
I don't.
My mind went to somewhere dirty. Carlos says she had lunch meat. I thought about Arby's.
It was very inappropriate. That's the whole point. By the way.
Oh, man. Well, look, hey, we appreciate y'all. We'll if for those watching today, hit that like and subscribe button. Become a member of Suncoast Normal so you can get free general admission to our events, including Puff and Paint. If you don't plan on painting, but you just want to come by, become a member, you get it free, or you can grab a general admission ticket. Again, all proceeds go to legalize it. Follow us on Instagram. We had a new Instagram that we had to set up due to Meta's taking us down. You can like us on YouTube and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, like us on Twitter and Twitch, and repost. Hannah, I know that's something you encountered too, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it today. But Kushy Pies, it has some of its social media deactivated by Meta, and I just want to say, fuck you, Zuckerberg.
Yeah, fuck you, Zuckerberg.
It wasn't cool, but thank
God. But it definitely put us through a little frenzy. It had us considering a lot of things, because I honestly, like, I take a lot of pride in not posting like THC content, because that's the first thing that'll get you flagged. So I'm like, please review my account.
That we never paid for, like, we've never paid for advertising or anything. Like, that whole account was built organically, like through the people, specifically of Florida. Like, we love you guys, all of the people, especially Tampa Bay, St. Pete, PIE, Clearwater, Valrico, everybody.
Like we just mentioned, our Instagram was taken down.
Wesley Chapel.
But it's now back up.
Well, we had to make a new one.
Yeah.
And the reason that they gave was because there was an association between Suncoast Normal and my mushroom company.
Oh, so that was one of the reasonings that they were saying, that they can deactivate you by association. So we're guilty by association.
We're guilty. We've been GBA.
Well, Carlos was an administrator on his mushroom page and an administrator on our page. So that's why they deactivated it.
So why did they deactivate yours?
They didn't give
because they were
didn't
just
give a reason.
they
we
just
we
were
just figured it out.
reviewing.
We were associated to you. That's why.
No, they didn't give a reason. We had no reasoning. That's
It's
what I was.
like,
That's why I was so pissed.
because of this man.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect with the camera.
And
So
we could do a whole show on social media, censorship, and I think that may be a good topic for a later week.
Yeah, if they'll let us.
yeah, if they don't ban us. So, but all right, see, well, we will catch y'all in the rotation next Sunday, 11 a.m. Gary's got some amazing guests lined up. Like I said, we got some great guests coming this fall, especially with Congress coming back into session. I'm pretty excited for some of the guests we got on the horizon. So tune in each and every week. You never know who's going to be there. And also subscribe to our newsletters and our email blasts. Go to the website, go to suncoastnormal.org so we can make sure you're getting the latest.
always good information in those emails, by the way.
Yeah.
I
And,
work
and
really hard.
next week, program note: when is a free medical card not a free medical card?
Oh, I'm excited to learn more about that.
Tune in. Happy birthday, Dad. Love you.
Peace. Oh, happy birthday to Carlos's dad too.
Yeah, this is the
Happy
bull
birthday.
signal and peace, by the way.